over the stream.
Welcome. Wait, okay, everybody. Okay, there you go. All right. Oh shit, we're live. I thought new breaks. Oh god, on screen new breaks are definitely not a good idea.
How big is your glass?
Record, we gotta talk about your stuff.
That feels better. Huh? What? Oh shit, was that live? Oh no.
There's a little present.
You don't know what a mute button is?
Out there.
Well, I feel better now.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but you're just disgusting.
Okay, what a way to open the show. Okay, I think we're ready now. Do everybody feel relieved? You know, okay. Okay.
I feel much more satisfied.
I thought we're still muted, but
I've got this warm feeling around my feet for some reason.
I'm just telling. It's probably that's where we were all aiming. And they said women can't aim. We just proved you wrong. There you go. Anyway, actually, the talented one's king. Well, I have a drink in hand in a sassy attitude. Juju, would you like a link? Sounds like those are mayhem requirements. There's some stuff going on already in the chat. Yep. Icarus, are you offended? I'm sorry. I am a naked.
Oh, Baldur's Gate. Oh, now that's a topic.
Wait, I'm not familiar with this. Why can't I say naked bear? I always say naked bear.
Okay.
I actually have a whole naked bear squad.
Everybody sit down. It's time for story time.
Oh no.
There is
okay.
There is a very well-known game now called Baldur's Gate. It is a game franchise. And they recently came out with Baldur's Gate 3. And it looks spectacular until right up into a scene where it still looks spectacular, but now they have a scene where Baldur, I believe, seduces a man, and I have nothing. That's not the weird thing. Believe me.
What is
Hang on, let me finish.
Okay.
It sounds like I'm digging myself a hole here.
Yes, it does.
The man, as beautiful and burly as he is, turns into a bear, and they proceed to share an intimate moment.
This is a game of two people. Okay, so this is like a nod to furry love. Like, what's going on here? Okay,
I believe it's a.
But I'm a naked bear, which means I'm not a furry. I'm furryless. Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Okay, so everybody, it's okay. And yeah, so I guess that's kind of like controversial because of how they're doing the game. Putting that why put that in the game?
Uh, 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 Baldur's Gate. It's Baldur's Gate. That's the only reason I can imagine, because it's Baldur's Gate,
So now
and
it's
it's also,
bestiality gate, or it's like, bears gone wild, like something like that.
yep.
Maybe he was on cocaine.
Maybe I don't know what it is, but this week I have been the bear thing, the sexy bear thing has been quite a thing. Either naked bear or sexy bear, or in quite a few different discords. So if you know, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just the same old naked bear, just me. That's it. And I'd like to announce that we have a new member. Charlie Welch has joined the channel. Thank you very much, Charlie. He's been a
Wasn't he
mod for a
already?
while.
Wasn't
He's
he
already in the
already a
Discord.
member?
That just shows you he's just showing us some love because he doesn't even have to, because we
Yeah,
did it
exactly.
anyway. So thank you very much, Charlie. We really appreciate it. So
Even though
cool.
he said you have a little behind. That
Well,
wasn't nice.
true. And if you think pictures come with that membership, you're sadly mistaken. So you're just gonna have to keep guessing about that little
That
behind.
Icarus explained it a little bit better.
Okay,
Baldur's Gate
it up.
is
Yeah.
a Dungeons and Dragons game, and their druids can turn into animals. And to show off how many options you have in that game, they showed a druid as a bear having a moment with a guy.
Oh,
I can turn
okay.
into a bear in World of Warcraft on my druid.
I can't turn into anything in the games that I play.
A bear can turn into.
Yes, you can. You can turn into a can, or a star, or a puck,
Oh,
or
when we play golf, yes, you
or a
turn into the
hexagon,
coconut and the square and the
or
cube.
a
Yeah,
Stop doing that.
yes. And I
or
and I
a
can and the more you guys bash me, the more I turn into a grouchy bear too. I could turn into a grouchy bear while playing that game, but it's fun.
yeah.
You could still hear an echo. Okay,
I don't hear it.
I don't
I
hear
don't
the
hear an echo.
echo.
Is that me?
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't hear an echo coming out anymore. I did in the beginning when the intro was playing. I had the but that tab is muted, like nothing's
Hang
coming
on a minute.
through. So do you have anything else open there? I know you will hear sometimes you will hear Mrs. Cassandra's child will be watching shows. You could hear the TV, but he cannot hear us, so don't worry about that. Like he can't hear us at all, so it doesn't matter what we're talking about. You can hear someone's TV. Yes, crazy, you will, because for Mrs. Cassandra does have it on in the background so that he can, and it's okay, Cass. I mean, that's going to bleed through a little bit. It doesn't really affect the talking that much, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
It's not YouTube though. It's not making the echo. So so we can wild. Who's not reading chat? So we can wild that. Okay, thank you, Liam. The chat is the chat is saying that the echo is gone. It was in the beginning when the intro was playing. It was definitely me. That was my fault.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the exclamation, that explanation, Icarus. And but yeah. I'm not going to be doing that like in a game anyway.
Sean's mentioning something that I think you're forgetting a little bit.
Yes, that's right. Because
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you, I was already reminded already right before the show. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Quiz, because I was reminded already. I'm just not really good at this YouTubey stuff. I'm just a bear with a mic. Okay. I'm not really good at this. But
And
I wanted to have
apparently a million different accents.
a million. Do you have a favorite? Yeah.
Oh, a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one.
Yeah.
Some and some other ones.
I'll tell you, it's still a thing too. It's still a thing. So anyway, whatever makes people happy, I don't really care. But they could talk about it all they want.
Do we have our mayhem message from Brother Bob today?
We do. I was going to ask Brother Bob. Brother Bob, I would like to Well, first of all, welcome you for all of our Mayhem family. We're so glad that you joined us again tonight. And I know you got a tight schedule. So I was thinking I would play your sermon first.
Very tight.
Get everybody get everybody in the mood, or at least on track. Try to save them a bit, yeah? From
I think that
themselves.
would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, so all right. What I'm gonna do is make it full screen.
I strangled myself with the wire.
Welcome, everyone, to Brother Bob's Church of Holy Love. I'd like to thank y'all for stopping in all this week. But I need to remind you, I'm going to be on vacation next week. Matter of fact, that handsome man that's taking me on a vacation had just sent me a message, so I thought maybe everybody would like to hear just exactly what he has planned. So tell him, handsome boy, what are we going to be doing all week long? Now, y'all don't need to worry about Brother Bob when he's on vacation, because the Church of Holy Love will still be doing their outreach programs. Mondays are spoon days down at the Church of Holy Love, so if you like the spoon, or maybe you're having trouble getting your spoon to stick out, come on down and I'm sure we'll find a fit just for you. Now, Tuesday are for bodyguards, those hot, handsome hunks who's worked long and hard all weekend long. It's their day for a little rest and relaxation. So come on down if you want to help the bodyguards out. Wednesdays are all for those dog lovers. So if you're a top dog or a bottom dog, just head on down to Brother Bob's Church of Holy Love, and I'm sure we'll find something just for you. Thursdays are for our politically minded people. Join us as we watch our favorite C-SPAN series, Suspended Congress. There's nothing like watching a bunch of hot, handsome men with their backs against the wall. Fridays are for cowboys who've been out riding the hot, dusty trail all week long. Come on down to Brother Bob's Church of Holy Love, and we'll see if we can't ride ourselves a cowboy into the sunset. Saturdays are for our missionaries who work long and hard all week long in the outreach programs. We invite everybody who partook in the outreach to come on back to Brother Bob's Church of Holy Love and end your week with a missionary.
I strangled myself with the wire.
I got that song in my head now.
Oh my god. It's a great song. It's in the Discord
And-
for a little while. Well, there you go. Thank you, Brother Bob. I think
Well, thank y'all, and I hope you all have a great week. But
I do.
I
I
need
hope
to
you
skedaddle and get
enjoy
started
yourself.
on my vacation time.
And thank you for the education. And we're going to have to check those days of the weeks out a little more closely.
Remember, pray hard. Oh, looks like he's already getting there.
Yeah,
He's
all
already on
bow.
his knees.
Yes, he's on it. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I know the cowboy one was one of Mrs. Cassandra's favorite. boots
Oh
and hats.
yeah.
Hmm
So there's
Anyway,
a lot of packages on that picture.
I am so shocked we don't have questions in there. Like, what do you mean? Like, no, they were all.
It looks like our
It looked
entire audience is very familiar with
with all the different
the curricula.
the curriculum. Yes, the curriculum.
Yeah.
Mrs. Cassandra, our work here is done. Maybe we don't need
Yeah.
to do mayhem anymore. We don't have to educate them on much. I mean,
It's
Mm.
been 2 years. We've been doing it for 2 years. I don't know.
yeah, and I think there wasn't even any surprise positions in there. I mean, they knew suspended Congress. There's not even anyone asking a question.
Mm.
Or they just were too busy looking like once the hot cowboy men showed up,
Probably they
they
were.
They might have
every
just
all
paused.
questioned.
Yeah.
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 They might have just paused on that image and just was admiring the.
Look at the tree, says, yuck, cowboys taste like anchovies and helicopters. This is
Oh.
true. This is very true. But the position is, well,
Hang on a
there's lot to be
second.
said for the
That is awfully specific.
It is awfully
Anchovies and
specific.
Yeah,
helicopters.
that's what I
And
said.
I'm
Whoa.
sure there's a great story that goes behind that one. And I'm actually writing it in my head right now. Like, thank you.
I-
Thank you for
Well,
that.
I-
Unfortunately. Okay.
I got questions
Yes.
on SpongeBob.
Oh gosh, let's go right into that. Okay, so we don't want to talk about suspended Congress. Okay, we'll go right into SpongeBob.
Yeah, I got questions on that.
Okay, all right. So the other topic we were going to talk about is let me pull this down and let me bring up what I've got for SpongeBob actually, because I didn't bring it up yet.
SpongeBob.
Does anybody else listen to Charlie
SpongeBob?
from Moist Critical? Like in the chat, are you guys familiar with his videos and stuff? Well, we actually refer to him a lot here because I follow him, and he's often has an interesting take on things. Well, he did an interesting video, right? Right? Was that today or last night? And it was in regards to some secret materials,
Behind
collector
closed
kind of
doors.
stuff. Yeah, behind closed doors, very secret stuff about the SpongeBob show, which we're all familiar with. I mean, I'm a fan. I'll say,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It's
Mousy,
a fun
it's
little
me.
show.
Okay, let me just get this up. Oh, all right, we're ready. Because he did it, apparently, like there's a lot of people would trade some things back and forth about SpongeBob. It's got like a great fan base. People are really into it. Well, where did it go? Okay, I can't find. Oh, there it is. It's because I didn't add it. That's why. All right. So, anyway, there was someone who did a video, and I have it linked before. No, that's the Kraken. Yeah, but it's about this. We're going to talk about this. Mrs. Cassandra has a question about this because some not safe for work SpongeBob artwork by the show's artist has surfaced after 20 years. There was a video done. Do you remember I have it linked in the description, but I don't remember the name of the gentleman's name. I do remember Penguin's name, of course, Charlie. He covered it, but it was from. It's a very weird name. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
I know, I forgot it too.
I have it because I have it right here.
Supersonic Q.
That's it. And the video is the second link in the thing there, but it's very strange.
Zoom in a little bit more on that picture.
No. No. Here's the link to the video.
I think we need a better a much better, larger image of this. So we can all fully envelop ourselves in the understanding of this
Okay, wait a minute.
wholesome scenario.
I don't have a larger picture of it.
Well,
what are you doing? What are you doing to me? No, we're not going to have a picture. Okay, this was as risque as I was going to get. Okay, you're going to have to open it up. It is actually them all in hanging out, having a decent time together.
When I first saw that, I did not think that was SpongeBob in the middle. I thought that was one of the Ren and Stimpy characters.
Exactly. Mr. Crab is thick, 21. Absolutely, Mr. Crab is thick. And hey, Mallory, nice to see you. You missed my opening. You might want to go back and listen to it. It was especially for you and the patients. A little gift from us on the Mayhem. The Naked Bear Squad had a little gift for you today.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, um, it is nice. I just I didn't find this by myself. Wrecker found it, and we were just talking
Blame it
about
on
it,
Rick.
and we're
Like
like,
this
no,
both
don't
of
I
blame it
them.
on him.
That's
It's
like
brilliant. It's nothing to blame. He gets full
I know.
credit. Actually, I'm going to give him accolades for it because when he gave it to me, he tossed me and goes like, "This is a Mayhem topic," like
It really is.
totally, because it is like Nickelodeon, which is where SpongeBob, they contracted it through Nickelodeon to produce this cartoon, which they only released on Comedy Central, which was more, shall we say, like, I always found it like, even though the kids love it, and I know my nieces, my nephews, everybody loves it. Okay, everybody loves it. But it was more sometimes the humor was much more adult
Yeah, you
oriented
have to be an
than I
adult to
thought.
understand some
Yeah,
of the humor on there.
yeah. So like,
yeah.
I wasn't really that shocked. It's so, long hours. You're a cartoonist. Who wouldn't do something like this? Like, why is anybody seriously? Is anybody shocked that there are images like this out there? I'm not.
That
I'm not shocked
that
at
an
all.
that an artist that's been, commissioned or paid to work grueling hours for minimum, sometimes minimum wage, pretty low paying, wouldn't, want to let off some steam with just drawing absolute bizarre absurdities?
Yup. Exactly. I mean, it's a tough thing, and it was done by the artists who write the strip. Well, Mrs. Cassandra, what was your question on it? Like, I'm like,
I mean, there's just so many questions, like,
all right,
because
start one.
just from the video itself, as far as the source of the person that was the source from in the video,
Mm-hmm.
they had a certain look because each of these
Exactly.
writers
Mm-hmm.
had books. The thing I'm wondering is because it
Um,
talked about. Oh, did someone say something?
it no, they're not. It's like there is in the video. He kind of answers it because I also linked the article that he's talking about. Like I linked
Yeah,
everything, except for Charlie's video, which you can go to Charlie's page for that. I didn't link Charlie's video, but I did link an article talking about it. Okay, I linked the original, this guy's whole expose on it because he actually brought this out to the public, and then he had mentioned in his video an article that Hogan Alley did a year ago or 2 years ago, talking to everyone about the oral history of SpongeBob, which was a great read. But there are little hints in there. And then when you talk about the history of it, they don't deny that they did this kind of stuff to blow off steam. There's many quotes from the illustrators that they did this kind of stuff and how they had the story goes that they drew them pictures on the back of sticky notes and put them all over the back of the door and would make jokes with each other about it, like to blow off steam. And we all know that black humor, dark humor, is very,
Cathartic.
cathartic, right? It's like
Hmm.
I don't see anything wrong with it. They are not children; they're full-grown adults,
yeah.
and they're just depicting them having organs, sex organs and stuff, and what they might do with them. And it happens all over the place. Now they're not putting it out for children. They didn't release it as any kind of thing. They
No.
actually, someone in their group, one of the illustrators themselves, just bound it all together and made a little book as a gift for all of them for working together and stuff. And somehow or other, what's said to be a second edition copy of it got into this guy's hand. The copy that he has, which he admits is a copy, it's all hand drawn, it's all photocopied. It says second edition on the back of it, but nobody's denying that it exists. Like nobody's out there saying that wasn't us. And it also uses anagrams of all their names, kind of mixing up their names. And it's the kind of the same names they were using in the other article. So that is your answer for that, Mrs. Cassandra, how they kind of proved it came from actually them.
No, I was
Yeah.
saying, what I think happened. What I was trying to say is what I think happened was, I think they all each have a different one. So if it does get leaked out, they know who's the one that leaked it.
You're probably right about that. And so they know that this one, the guy showed in the video that this is the second edition. So whoever was responsible for that one is now the one who let his copy. Like the guy who gave it to him said it was given to him as a gift
Yeah.
when he used to hang around at the studios, Right. No
Yeah.
nipple, no nothing. Like exactly. There wasn't anything really that bad about it. And if you want to judge for yourself, I did link the unredacted photos. The link is there because it's public. So it is down there, but we can't put it up on YouTube or whatever. But I was just Record and I were talking about it when he brought it to me, and we were just cracking up like that people are getting so upset about it. I don't know. I don't
People
think I'm
get
an
upset
awful
about
person.
anything
I
these
mean, I
days.
know there's a certain clientele that, a certain element that may think I'm awful because of my beliefs in certain things or whatever like that. But I'm not out here hurting anybody. And I really don't think that these pictures, if they're not exposed to youngsters, even the one I have up on the screen right now, I have a over 18 channel. Everything I do is over 18. I never ever say anything but adult humor, adult topics, no matter what we're talking about. Why would anybody get upset about a couple of hand-drawn figures in a position?
And it's roughly drawn as well. Like I've seen artists that are like, not even they don't even make these cartoons, who've drawn these cartoons and they're higher detail and probably more graphic. I mean, there's a website called Rule 34 for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows what Rule 34 is.
I did not. Actually, you needed to educate me on that. And now you're probably going to have to educate my chat on what Rule 34 means.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Who's the first person to give me the definition of Rule 34? Come on, let's see. How quick?
I'll bet you it's a Canadian. Go ahead, Gary.
Come on.
No. Hi. Okay. Somebody want to tell? I believe in open and honest communication in the ocean. So do I, Juju. Be tentacles all the way.
Yes.
I have had a way of interesting work. Rule 34. If it exists, there's porn for it. Exactly. 2021. Exactly.
We know.
Yes.
We know who the depraved person is here now. Ha!
No, he's not depraved.
I got you out.
I wouldn't call him depraved. I would say that that's an accurate statement, and because it's true, it's the way the world. If there is something that exists, there. I knew the Canadian knew. I knew it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Damn it, Reg beat you to it. It's right. Faster than a Canadian. That's your new hashtag, 20. You're just faster than a Canadian. Yep. That's it. We're gonna start that one right now. Reg, faster than a Canadian. There you go. All right. Hashtag number 1 of the night. Oh, wait. Hashtag number 2. All the tentacles. You're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right. Juju, I'm with you. I want to do a whole show on that. Why is tentacle porn a thing? But hey, I kind of get it. I don't know. But to do the show, you'd have to watch it. And I really don't want to watch the porn, actually. So,
yeah, no, thank you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to watch tentacle porn. Well, I'm just like, why is it a thing? It's like fascinates me. But that's off the subject. On this, is there cartoon porn then, Record? Like, is there a whole section of SpongeBob porn? Like,
there's
yeah,
something
and I'm not
called hentai, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, knowing not safe for work artists, they've drawn, you name it, they've probably drawn it. Everything. It's disturbing, actually, how much they've drawn.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know. But it didn't traumatize my youth, my memory of the cartoons, or take anything away from it. It's the way that they act anyway on stream. I would actually expect something like this. Based on the people that have to draw it. You know what I mean? Like, and and just as a point of reference, here's one thing. They literally submitted this third one as a real part of the show, and it got like turned down. It was part of this something army episode, and it was the last thing that gets said. Well, this actually, him misusing the toilet like this, and that giant turd coming out of this got censored off. They weren't even allowed to put poop out there. But the line "and now for the chaser" did get added. They say that in the video, and they confirm it in the article. That got that stayed in, but the actual drawings didn't. And then when you look at how these are drawn, Mrs. Cassandra, it also adds some credence to it was during their regular work day, because these are the kind of panels, timing, and framing that they would have to use. Like their regular pads that they
Yeah.
use for doing the work. And mhm,
Reg just added a little bit of extra information.
mhm.
There is 15,000 plus entries for Sandy Cheeks. 1,500 plus entries for Sandy Cheeks and Rule 34. That's a SpongeBob character.
Oh my. Thank you for doing the research so I didn't have to Google it. I appreciate your sacrifice. Although, do you have that tabbed? Is it start? Is I'm curious now. So many questions. Why is it when we get an answer, we just get more and more questions?
Exactly.
More and more questions. Okay, I've got my name. I'm like, okay, John, hey friend, I'm so glad to see you. And then apparently tentacle porn has its roots in 1814 in Japan. I can see that. Something about an octopus going down on a fisherman's wife. Well, they do have a lot of arms, and women do like to be touched. So, I'm sensing there's a thing, but it's kind of scary for me, actually. I don't know. It has all kinds of tints of control in being bound
Hands
and
everywhere.
hands everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Hmm. What did I just tune into? How off? Well, it is crabs taking a poop, a big one. And it wasn't allowed on TV on the screen, and we're trying to figure out why, because I don't really think it's that bad. I really don't. Well, but then there was this.
Shall we tell them
Okay.
what it was replaced with?
Oh,
They replaced it with plankton, the tiny
yes.
little plankton
Hmm.
getting flushed down the toilet, and they
Yeah.
they actually used that line that was at the bottom that said, "And now for the chaser," as a line to
Hmm.
sort of reference the joke
Right.
strip
Amongst them,
that they submitted.
right. Amongst themselves, because that was like their
Mm.
little funny thing. But anyway, the book is like redacted a lot. Like it's got like several many pages, and they do actually in some of them. If you follow the link in my, I'll put it in the chat for you. But if you follow the link to the actual where he has the archive of all of these behind the scenes pictures. Um oh wow, now it says item can't be found. Why?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Who
Uh-oh.
betcha?
Oh no, they might have taken the link down. Anyway, if you go to the guy's video, it's also on his video. So if you look on he has it on the pinned comments. Maybe I just have to copy that again. Hold on. Maybe I just have to copy it again. Oh, you know why? Because you have to hit a thing to say it's over 18. Every time you do the link, you probably have to do, that. So try that one, people. I think the one that I copied in the chat in the video is already opened, and so it's not going to open it again. Does that make sense? Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, we might have to just link the video.
Yeah, I did. I have the video linked in I actually have the archive linked, but now I'm putting in the unopened archived link so that it works better. Sorry, people. Didn't mean to set you up, but it's in the chat if you want to go. Look at that. There you go. Click the
Yeah,
link. See
then
Patrick Starfish giving SpongeBob a mustache. Yes, unfortunately. Yes. I'm telling you. I know. I know. Anyway, I thought the guy did a good job explaining it. That there's really not like. I mean,
He did.
everybody. I mean, just regular jobs anymore in today's societal climate. At least here in America, I'm not so sure. Like you can speak for New Zealand, Ricker, and those of you in the chat from other countries. I mean, day to day life. I'm going to make a statement. Day to day life is really, really tough anymore. Whether you're working
Mm,
full time, part time, whether you're raising a family, whatever your position is anymore, especially here in America, comes with so much pressure and stripe. And it's
mm-hmm.
just, you got to be able to blow off steam. So just imagine you're like the long hours, they talked about how long hours they loved their job because they were being creative as cartoonists, right? They
But they
loved the
also
job.
weren't getting paid that well either.
Right. They were
No.
really underpaid, but they don't want to leave the job. So they've got this camaraderie going on and they've got a bit of dark humor. And plus they're cartoonists. They got wicked sense of humor anyway. Like we all know how hard it is to get something funny across, let alone actually give people a visual for it and keep the joke running. I
And
mean, that's
honestly, it
yeah.
was technically for all of them. Like, it never really was supposed to make it out in the public.
It
No.
wasn't.
It's
It was
it,
just a
it
blow
was
off
just a
stream.
yeah, it was a creative way to raise morale and blow off steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there was never any ill intent meant by it.
Right.
And you got to sort of be honest with yourself and say like creative people in general,
Mm-hmm.
they it- they they have to blow off steam one way or another.
Hey,
Whether
Miss
and making okay, let me put it this way. Who here has known a teacher who said, "Oh yeah, I've seen one of my students draw some horrific things in their book."
I have.
Yeah.
Oh, I have worse.
Right.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
experience with that. I've actually got a call to go to the school because they didn't like things that my daughter was drawing, and I had to go stick up for my nephew, who was about to get suspended for drawing a violent scene in his notebook. Um, Not to anybody he knew or anything, but just basically a violent scene. And actually, what it was a game that he was playing. He was just drawing the reenactment of a battle he had the day before um with some people. But what you mean is that it gets too politically correct, right? Like they read too much into everything. Well, I want them to be worried. I want them to check. I just don't want them to
Of
make it so horrible, like
Yeah.
course,
put a
but
black mark on them or something.
yeah, but in a way, like for people who are creative or people trying to be creative in general, you kind of have to um, be able to play around with all sorts of different types of ideas,
Mhm.
uh, whether they be um, whether they be for the general population and be funny and anyone can look at it, or whether it be dark and gruesome or gory or
Mhm.
visceral. Uh,
Well,
it's all a part of the creativity to be able to make um even better art.
exactly, and it's not and what I see these days is everybody trying to make something out of everything, like the little things. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want to bring up a very controversial topic, but we did actually have this discussion already today, Ricker, and it kind of fits in. When people try to add things into something that's not really there based on the climate or what's going on, or like because it fits now what you're looking at. Take the Jason Aldean video, okay? Um, a, it- a statement that was meant to be one way can be interpreted another way. But shouldn't you actually really just ask the creator what they meant instead of just trying to make assumptions on all of that kind of stuff? Well, because
Mm,
I mean, yes, we can all interpret it any different way, and we all have the right to do so. I,
mm,
I just think people do it with a little more harm than they used to, a little more carelessly in regards to reputations and accusations and judgments. Um, I would go so forward to say that we're dealing in a very uncomfortable, judgmental society that just makes it no matter what you do, you're wrong. No matter what you do, you're going to be wrong to a whole group of people. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's you can't get you can't do anything anymore without
Hmm.
it. Well, I mean, you never really could do anything that was cutting edge in some way, shape, or form, or creative in some way, shape, or form without at least offending someone.
Yep.
Um, I mean, how many people here have remember when Pokemon and Digimon and
Hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh was satanic,
Oh yeah, like they would
and
say all
and,
that. Hmm.
and you'd hear about parents burning their kids' cards or destroying their kids' video games, and it's like
Hmm.
someone's gonna get offended.
Yeah, someone is, and like Garrus is right. He says, I would assume that this was drawn by adults for their entertainment, meant to keep private and never to be put in front of children's eyes. This is true. But people are getting upset because they were hired by Nickelodeon and they worked for Nickelodeon at the time. And people say it's a cartoon and this and that. But you know what? It wasn't out there mass produced for them. This was something that is out there now because there are fans, um just because there are fans that collect SpongeBob stuff, like Sailor. What was it? The Sailor mouth, the outtakes from the one episode they did where they cursed because they knew it was going to get clipped out anyway, but all of the
Yes,
voice actors cursed and went
if
over, and then that
yeah,
audio actually made it out, and it's a collector's item. Like people
if
pay good
yeah,
money for it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, if people remember the SpongeBob episode where they were swearing all over the place, or well, it was bleeping out words, and it was about sailors talk, sailor speak, and they were bleeping out words, and they were actually it sounded like it was all innocent and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but if you actually get hold of the original recording, they were
Mm-hmm.
actually swearing,
Right.
and they were actually saying some, they
Mm-hmm.
were saying really uh real words. It wasn't just like they stopped talking and then they put the beep in to insinuate it. No, they were actually
Mm-hmm.
swearing.
Mm-hmm. No, anyway, and it is, and it's because it's a collector, just like this is out there. But I will give this video, the one who did the video on this, they redacted all of the photos so that like the actual illustrators can't get blamed for putting anything out on, that is pornographic. Okay, and neither can they, because even if accidentally kids saw it or whatever, they're really trying to be cautious. They did not mean for anyone else to see it, but it's going to be a collector's item now. Now that they know that they exist, people are going to get offers for them. There's supposedly 5, 6, 7 editions or whatever of it out there.
And
And
Ox Ox made a very good point actually.
oh yeah,
Donald Duck was actually outlawed in a few countries because he didn't wear pants.
true, exactly. And the things, and even on the left that Mickey Mouse did at certain times, like and stuff like that, or the lecherous eyes of the dog character or the wolf character when a hot woman went by, like all kinds of stuff like that. But it's like it's not meant to be like harm. It wasn't meant to be harmful. This was private and now it's out there. But the outrage for it, like if they go for SpongeBob, they're going to have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like how dare they? All of this trying to get people canceled and making a big deal about stuff for what? Are the current illustrators responsible for any of this? No. Is the show still very popular with young people everywhere and not causing any harm? Really, I don't see it. I don't know. Does your son watch it at all, Cass? Not.
It's
I don't.
actually finished now.
Is
Yeah,
it
we
finished?
don't.
Yeah,
Wasn't there just a
Well, there's like
SpongeBob
you can
movie a
still
couple years
watch.
ago? Yeah, there's.
yeah.
You can still
It
watch. They
it's
play
only finished quite
reruns.
recently.
Yeah. And before the show, I went and looked in our library, like in our county library, right? Over
Mm.
the children's section. And SpongeBob videos is one of the most popular ones that get um taken out of the library for the kids. So,
Also, Jenny Foster said something that's incredibly accurate. no worse than the stuff people come up with on fanfic forums. And
Exactly.
anyone that has spent any little amount of time on the internet knows for a fact that
Yeah.
that those fanfic forums are just, there's no other word for it, but
Mm-hmm.
fucked.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
pretty messed up.
straight messed up.
They are, and actually, they refer to that in the video. And I linked it, and I think it was pretty good. Um, but as far as the topic, we wanted to bring it to Mayhem. One, because of it is a little risque. It is kind of, for me, it's amusing to see SpongeBob in this light. Okay, it's
Yeah.
very human, and I can understand them. Blowing off
Yeah.
steam and
Wasn't
whatever. And I
the
appreciate it because I need to do that myself. Why do you think I have a show called Mayhem? And yet at the same time, I have serious topics. I want to talk to psychologists and ex-cult members, and like I want to talk politics and legal and have serious conversations with people. But I have to do this too because you know it's just a release, dark humor, parody, or
Hmm.
making fun of things. I mean, it's what they do. I don't see that they did anything wrong. And basically, our whole show is about that. Like, I know some people get upset about even Brother Bob's sermon. Not many that really know our inner circle. Not any of my channel members. I don't even think many of my subscribers get upset about it because that is just like it's a light take on something humorously. It's like, and then the fact that people comment me for it is why we still do it, because you don't get it. You just don't get it. And you're just taking it too seriously and you're being very judgmental. And I'm going to keep doing it until you realize
And
that
let's
you're just making asses out of yourselves when you try to turn it into something that it's not. It's
and for
definitely not. Yeah.
all those that are watching this later that do get offended, yeah, we all know what you do with our voices.
That's another one. That's another one. Yeah. That's that right there. I wish they would just keep that to themselves. But still. Anyway. All right. So Cass, did you have other questions about this that needed to be answered?
No, I don't have any. I was just curious about if each person got their own one, just so they know who
Well,
leaked it.
the gift was, I think you might be onto something there, because the gift originally, the person who put it all together, it was like a camaraderie gift for everybody that was involved with
And
it, like a
they
big
did say
joke.
it
Yeah.
was collecting dust.
The guy said it
Mm.
was collecting dust in his attic, that he was giving it as a gift because he used to hang out there. He is not one of the illustrators. He did say
No,
that. The one who did the video said that the person who gave him a copy of his copy was not an illustrator of the show, but that it was designed, everything in it was designed by illustrators of the show. So
yeah.
he received it like well after the fact. Good night, little mousy. Thank you for hanging with us a little bit.
The questions
Yeah,
I
sleep well.
have
Mm.
are about
Go.
Jonah
Mm.
Hill.
Yeah, let me take down our redacted
No,
picture here.
not really questions. I got opinions on that one.
You know what?
Oh,
I'm happy to hear that, because I've been dying to talk about Jonah Hill. I have been. Have I not? Like, you know,
Yeah.
poor
So
Wrecker talks to me about the show and gets all of this like bombarded on him.
yeah.
Like constantly. Like, and I'm like, do you want to talk about this? No. You want to talk about this? No, not really. Like, I'm good because, and I have to stick up for him, because as a man, like, he probably get annihilated if he tried to talk about it. True or not? What do you think?
I would probably get absolutely blitzkrieged.
Right. And that's not fair either, is it? Because, like, you're not allowed to have an opinion because you're a man and because it involves a man. And I'm like, no, that's not something that should happen, right?
No,
No. Okay.
I think anyone should be able to talk about it, no matter what.
Exactly, because to
Whether it's
me, it's not a
Mm.
man-woman situation.
no, It's not a gendered situation at all.
Mm-mm.
It's a situation about someone's own personal feelings and um, boundaries or uh, what they believe is what they're comfortable with. To be honest, if you
They're,
really want to
yeah,
break it down,
yeah, they're
Yeah.
boundaries, and
yeah,
that's why I was glad Cass wanted to talk about it too, because as a woman, I actually, because of what I wanted to say about it, they didn't want me to talk about it. Um, and now my just found out my article link is, I don't know why the links in my video are all bad today, but I'm redoing them now. I'm sorry to anybody who tried to open that link that I just did. It's just not working. Um, but I think I see what the problem is, and I'm fixing it now. But Cass, why don't you tell them, like, from a woman's perspective, and not even just a woman's perspective, but as a human, when you read it, like, just say how you came across it. Why don't you lay it out for them what this
Well,
whole issue is with these tweets?
I've been seeing it here. Like I've been seeing it here and there, and it was actually um I've been, like I said, I've been seeing it here and there, like whatever. And it was actually my husband and I started talking about it because he's like, Did you hear about it?" And then so we started talking about it, and so the stuff that she's posting that I've seen is, which is his ex girlfriend now, right?
Yes, I believe. Let me just say, her name is Sarah Brady, and she posted them. And part of the issue is when she posted them.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the only thing I don't know. I don't know
She
when.
posted them right after Jonah Hill's new current relationship, Olivia Miller, had their baby. So
Oh,
she,
see, I
yeah,
didn't catch that. See,
and this was way after they broke up, like way after.
wow.
a year or so at least. They broke up in
Mm.
2022. He's been with Olivia now for a while. Okay. Their final exchange was in August of 2022. They did stay friends after they broke up romantically. They only stopped talking when he disclosed that he was actually entering into a new romantic relationship and he didn't think it was appropriate. And that's, I think, when she went ballistic. Um, and that's a problem. And I say ballistic because, I figure a lot of men are going to use that term anyway for this type of behavior for her. But it does seems to be a little bit spiteful, petty, and revengeful, because while it happened, none of this came out. When they first broke up, none of this came out. Um, if she felt the way that she says that these texts make her feel, why wasn't it such a big deal at the time?
Yeah,
Um,
why was it only after he had finally settled down and gotten into a stable, comfortable relationship, as far as we know, did she feel that it was appropriate to paint him paint something that is, I would argue, would be innocuous in a lot of respects, in a light that was incredibly harmful to not just him, but his reputation,
Hmm.
um, his relationship between his current uh, girlfriend as a wife, um, and his public image.
mhm.
And then she's trying to come out as if that's she's a victim.
Well, that's just it. And to go with what Mrs. Cassandra was saying, Cass brings up a good point about, that doing, how she was doing it. Um, I don't know. What when you were talking with your husband about it, Cass? Like, what was the common thread? I kind of think that you and your husband were probably on the same page about this.
Yeah, we normally always are because we're talking about mainly the text, like because she was like showing like pictures of the text and how it was making her look stupid and foolish, and
Hmm.
not the other way around.
Hmm.
So like especially when she's at Frankie Munez's house at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's just like saying that he's
Hmm.
not comfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with saying that
Right.
you're not comfortable with your your partner being at another the other opposite sex's house, like by yourself. I don't know what was going on, but
Hmm.
she was trying to say he was controlling and bullying her. He explained
Yes, I don't find it
his boundaries.
controlling to say.
No,
Yeah,
if she didn't
exactly.
like it, she could have just said,
Yep.
okay, then it's over. But obviously, she didn't. She kept it going.
Hmm.
But yeah, because I personally
Yep. I.
wouldn't do that myself. Like, I would never just go hang out like at a friend's house at like, especially in like
Hmm.
middle of the night. Like, what are you doing
Yeah,
in the middle of the night?
Yes. Well, I
Sean
will.
sort of said is pretty
You
accurate.
can
It's
bring them
like
up if
as
you want.
long as he was
Yeah.
alone, she was
Mhm.
okay. And then when he found
Yeah,
happiness, it was like, how dare he find happiness without her? That's
Mhm.
that's the feeling that
Actually,
I get, and I think a
perfect,
lot of people
perfect.
do.
Because yeah. This is Jonah Hill. He was heavier at the time, a little bit, and he was also still doing a lot of film then. And she is a surfer and a model, okay, in New York. All right, that's a picture of them. But this quote here is kind of evidence to point that, spot on, Sean Coffey, spot on, because this is what she said, quote unquote. And I'm reading it right from her own words to Newsweek magazine. And I want to know if this hits you guys the same way it hits me, especially you, Mrs. Cassandra, and you also, Drager, because this bothered me. In answer to her question about the timing, she said, "I'm sure the timing can seem bad, like, oh yeah, I waited until he had a kid," said Brady on Instagram. This is her own post on Instagram. "But I waited until she had her baby, so I knew they were like physically not impacted by me sharing this shit. And she could be informed and make an informed decision of how she wants to care for herself and her baby, which she birthed and she created. Yes, it's his child, but that is that woman's infant. That's how I see it." Mm?
that,
Mm?
that, I don't know what to say. I don't. I'm
I
sorry. I I'm speechless. Honestly.
Yeah.
I to
So,
me that screen that's like it's almost like some kind of red herring. It sounds almost like, hey, look over here and just pay attention to this thing over here, which is attached to a real, in many cases, a real issue, um, which is
mm-hmm,
which is the debate between the weird debate between child uh, o- not ownership, but like custody and stuff like that.
custody and stuff
Uh,
like that, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
while also disguising your own uh, jilted feelings
Mm-hmm.
in amongst it.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
and here's
misdirection.
misdirection, exactly. And here's the thing, that was worded very weird, John. It was, wasn't it? It said more than I think she wanted to, but I definitely
Yeah.
see, you
I
know.
I
And
have a feeling uh,
go
she
on.
I have a feeling that well, no, I'm pretty damn sure that she purposely worded it this way. So if anyone was to criticize her about it, they would
Hmm.
be the ones coming off seeming as bigoted
Exactly.
or
Okay.
uh,
Hmm.
insert word there
Hmm.
towards her.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of low, to be honest.
Right. And Newsweek kind of is like they're trying to be unbiased here, and that's why I picked this article, because they're not picking sides, but they are like just putting out her quotes and because she's the one putting all the information out, not Jonah Hill. Okay. And so they go back in October 12th of 2021 when they were no longer speaking. And this is from her. She says, "I'm sorry I said that. I had a couple of beers and I'm just upset, feeling like we can't do surf social things without an uncomfortable situation arising that usually feels like my fault somehow. I feel you pull away, and then the feeling of being defective creeps in. I think I'm not socially intelligent enough to meet your needs as a partner, and then I get frustrated and angry at myself and just want you to rip the band-aid off. I'm not good enough for you. In moments of conflict, my brain thinks you want to dump me because I'm not good enough for you and you're the GOAT, greatest of all time. And you can do better, and you will immediately want to end things with me." Okay, what that says to me is someone who doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. She's the surfer out there. He's already said he doesn't want her showing her body. It makes him uncomfortable to be in a relationship with someone intimately and know that people see her this way. Okay? Those
And
text, right.
you got to remember that it's not exactly that they see her this way. It's that she, from what I understand, is going a bit beyond what
She 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 is. She's
is
going a bit beyond what is
professional,
right. And
or
that
what would be considered professional.
exactly. And she didn't want to get called out on it. It looks like someone who is looking for attention and acceptance in a lot of different ways. And I don't want to judge her for that, but that's just what it sounds like right now. Because he says, "You're right. We can't do surf social things or develop trust until you consider me and make decisions that give regard to our relationship." Because prior to this text, he had already told her, "I'm uncomfortable with you having these kind of pictures on your Instagram, promoting yourself this way. It's not for me, but make yourself happy. You do you. I'm just saying it's not for me. I am uncomfortable with it." And he's allowed to be uncomfortable with it. Everybody has their own levels of stuff. Do I
Yeah.
find that to be a bit controlling? If he's trying to tell her, he's not saying you got to do all of this. He is saying these are my boundaries, and for us to have a successful relationship, this is what I need. He has every right to say that. He's not
Mm.
trying to manipulate her to say like, well, he's giving her the choice. You know what I mean? He is saying, if you continue to do this, you won't be with me. He is saying that. Well, doesn't he have a right to say that? Just like
Yeah.
I have the right to say, "Okay, partner, I'm uncomfortable with you sleeping with other people. So if you want to be with me, you can't do that." Do I have the right to say that? Yes, I do.
Hmm.
Right? Do they have the right to either stop or carry on and do whatever they're going to do? Right. It's I'm giving them the choice. I'm just drawing my boundary. It's not the same, but it is the same. Uncomfortable is uncomfortable, and boundaries are boundaries. And to make it like a man's not allowed to say, "I don't, it is your body. You can do what you want with it, but I'm uncomfortable with you showing it, selling it, advertising it, or using it to get you away." I don't see why a man is not entitled to say that if that's how he feels.
And to be fair, Grace Case does make a good point. He did know who she was and what he was getting himself into.
True. And
So
and
in
he's
that
trying to
respect,
back out of it. He's trying to
yeah,
back out of it. You can see.
yeah,
Yeah.
in that respect, like, yeah, he did, and he should have known that this came with the territory.
Hmm.
So in that respect, yeah,
In that respect, and I would say, yes, he is an asshole. If he didn't address that by saying, "Yes, this is my issue. I thought I wouldn't be uncomfortable, but I am. But
yeah,
I am." Maybe he thought he could do it and then he couldn't. And so it appears like he's an asshole, but what he's saying is, "I just can't do it." And everybody has the right to, you hope that the person is going to choose you over a thong. Okay, she could have worn a different kind of bathing suit, and I get that it does appear controlling, but if you can't handle it, you should have the right to say so. And I don't think that necessarily makes him an asshole to say he can't handle it. You know, I don't think.
I thought it mainly got towards, it was that too, but I thought it was mainly the whole, because she was like out hanging out with
She
in
was
part like
drinking with them, all the
yeah,
guys, all the time, drinking with them and hanging out. They're always like, because they're surfers, they're always half dressed. And for him, it was uncomfortable.
that's what I thought that the main issue was, is that he wasn't comfortable with her like being up super late, like, or hanging out with them. And yeah, it could be an insecurity issue too, but
Mm-hmm.
I just, when she was posting that, she was trying to make it out to be a lot more than what it was, in my opinion. And when she did it, it was kind of the wrong
I
move. Like,
think,
why
I
didn't she
think,
do it before?
yes. And she's adding all the context to it and making it like it was big. I'm not saying that it's like, first of all, it's a private thing between the two of them that was already settled. She
Mm,
said, you're not happy with me being a surfer in my lifestyle, so maybe we should rip the band-aid off, okay? But at the same time, she's the one that wants to keep trying, okay? He's telling her what the boundaries are, and then she's like pushing back, okay? He says he respects her love of surfing, okay? But he respects himself and the right that he doesn't have to go along with that lifestyle. If that's what she needs to do to have that, he wants her to have it, and he said so. He just said you can't have both. Why does he have to accept everything on her way?
yeah, and and
Hmm.
once
They were
again, yeah,
just they were just dating, Grace. They weren't even married. So I think he does the right to make it an ultimatum before he got married to her. If he did it after the fact, I'd agree with you that he's controlling, manipulative. If he married her and then told her she couldn't do any of that, if he committed himself to her and she to him, and they were going to go into a long-term relationship. You got to remember, this was the beginning of their relationship. They were still just getting to know each other, these back and forth. And he's just saying he doesn't like it. She still has a choice, you know? Would it have been better if he just walked away and didn't tell her why? I don't think so. They were in a relationship talking to each other about it, on what wasn't working and why the relationship wasn't moving forward. That's how it
and
all reads to me, and it shouldn't be out here for everybody to read, actually, you know?
yeah, and
That's
to
true
be
too,
honest, like,
ma'am.
isn't it's a he's having a difficult conversation with her, but he's still actually communicating with her, as
Mhm,
opposed to um what we hear very commonly with relationships that have that sort of dynamic where
mhm,
they will have sort of subliminal sort of digs at them to try and break them down, which
mhm,
is a very common thing to do. And he's actually just coming out there and simply saying, "Look, I'm not comfortable with this."
mhm.
Um, maybe someone said, maybe he thought that he could handle it at the beginning and then couldn't.
Right.
But now
Or
he's making this.
true.
He, yeah,
Or
he's making this. He's making this heard. He's making himself heard,
exactly.
and so I think it
And although
there.
it does come across very shitty and very much like, I do agree with some of the comments that say these are the kind of things you talk about. You knew she was a surfer and a modeler when you started the date. Yes, when they were in the
Mm,
beginning just dating, and then it starts to bother him more and more, and he says so because she's pushing for the relationship to progress, and he doesn't want it to progress because he's not going to marry her because of these issues, and he has every right to say so. That he doesn't have the trust there, he doesn't feel respected in his own wish. He's told her from the beginning how he felt about it, but he's not saying don't do it. He's just saying I don't like when you do it. Okay, so that's the difference there. Nowhere in this stuff does it say you can't do this and you can't do that. In everything I'm reading, he's saying it's your choice. You have every right to do what you want to do, your life, your body. I'm just saying I don't agree with this. And what we're saying, at least I am, is that he has the right to do that. That doesn't make him a misogynistic asshole.
I want.
Maybe
I agree with you on that, and I'm wondering what's the point in even releasing all this stuff? You guys having
Yes,
long
you
sex.
guys are missing the point that she's releasing it so much later, and that this falls onto the things of retaliation, spiteful. I am reading comments from Sarah Brady as if she's not a full-grown person. She seems very childish and immature about this. She wanted Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill had boundaries, and he had a certain criteria of what he wanted in a relationship. And I think that that's fine that he said it. And I don't want to, I want more men to say what their boundaries are before people get married. Before, if he didn't say what these boundaries were, these two could have get up married, and then you would be absolutely right. He would end up being portrayed as the misogynistic asshole that just tried to change her because he couldn't take it anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we
I
got
mean,
to look at the timing of it, you know?
did they
Why?
even? How long did they last for? Like, how long were they even together for? Dude.
I think it was not even a year, right?
Oh,
And I'd also
And
like to
we're
make,
not.
if he's such a misogynistic asshole, why did he stay in contact with her afterwards as a friend? They were still friends. They were still talking. He was helping her get through it. He even helped her monetarily because he was helping her before they broke up. He didn't cut anything off. He didn't try to do anything nasty, or just go, okay, do what I want or you're out. It wasn't like that at all, you know?
Yeah. And we're not disagreeing with you here either, Grace Case. Like, if he wasn't, if he wasn't able to actually handle that relationship to begin with, he definitely shouldn't have gotten into it.
yeah.
He,
And that's what
but
I want to
to
clear up. When I say
to be
marriage, I don't mean that they had to put a ring on it and that whatever. I mean when you get to that point in a committed relationship when it's just you're going forward. Okay. This reads to me where they were in their relationship and they stopped going forward and there was pressure on her end to move it forward. And he was saying why it wasn't going to move forward. So when I use the term marriage, I'm using it in more of a commitment type statement. I don't mean you has to be for it to be serious or anything like that. So Liam, I read your comment and I agree with you. So you can come down a little bit on it because that's not exactly how I'm using the term, and I should have been more clear. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually express it a little more clear. What I meant was them going forward in the relationship. Like, and he has every right to say why the relationship isn't going to keep progressing because relationships progress. Yes, more commitment, more involved. You start tangling up your lives together. You start making all your decisions together, etc., etc., etc. When you get into those committed one-on-one type partnership relationships, they don't start from day one. It doesn't start even in day 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever. Okay, you go through these hurdles together, coming up with the stuff you can deal with and you don't, because whoever you met when you asked that person for a cup of coffee is not the person you're with a year later. I can guarantee you that. You know more about them. You know everything about them, or so much more. Maybe not everything, but so much more about them that you barely recognize who you first saw standing there that intrigued you, that made you want to get to know them. Okay. People are onions. People are onions, layer after layer after layer after layer. And it takes time in situations, in conversations to get to them.
and the way this reads, it kind of seems like there is a lot more to this than what has been released.
She
Maybe it's
says
just
there is.
me,
And- yeah, but she
but
says, oh, and like this, she adds all these postscripts to whatever he said, exactly as if she knows exactly what he means. Like when he says friend, she means any friend that he hasn't personally approved of. And yet, in all of the things she released, there's never anything in there about whether he was going to actually approve a friend or not. He didn't want guys hanging on her, drinking at night. And he got tired of saying it. Because, I mean, she's actually trying to say that he's an insecure asshole misogynist because he doesn't want half drunk men that work with her hanging on his half drunk, in a bathing suit woman. And I can understand how he might feel and how that might make him feel. Okay. She says she has to do it for her work, but then she does it for social anyway. They're her friends. And it makes him uncomfortable. What is wrong with the fact that that makes him uncomfortable?
Nothing wrong with it. I guess he should have looked
Yeah,
at her socials beforehand.
Hmm.
exactly.
I would
Exactly.
say, I'd say he probably got into the relationship for all the wrong reasons and wasn't 100%, didn't 100% realize what he really was getting into with her. And she is clearly a very strong-willed person, a
She
strong-willed
was
woman who
pushing
wants.
for a marriage and children in a real life. She's pushing for it in those texts. You can see it.
Hmm.
Did you read it? He said right in there, if you want marriage and family, you can't use the 25 card. Step up and cut the shit. These people don't get your time or your kindness at the sacrifice of mine. In other words, you say you want a relationship with me, and I'm telling you what I need to move forward, and you're saying that this is what you want to do instead. You can't have both. And
So that
I
kind
don't
of
see what's wrong with him saying you can't have both.
going into that, then it kind of questions as like instead of putting more to okay, was she choosing to hang out with her friends instead of hanging out with him? Which
That
that's nothing wrong with that, but knowing you guys might have separate busy schedules, especially with him being an actor, you don't have that much time together anymore. So
And he's saying,
her
if you're saying this is what you want, then make the sacrifices for this is what you want. He's saying what it is. Now, granted, that's a terrible situation to be in, and nobody wants to be told that. But it doesn't mean the other person doesn't have the right to say what makes them comfortable and what don't, which seems to be what most people target on here is the fact that he didn't like some of the stuff that she was doing. Why does he have to like it? If we have the freedom to do whatever we want as women, why don't people have the freedom to say whether they like it or not?
And I
One
don't think
doesn't
he
go
ever
without
said
the other.
anything about her giving up her career. That I,
He
I
didn't say
don't.
anything about the modeling. He did say he did make several posts about some of the Instagram posts of her in a bathing suit that was quite showy, and she was a little braggy about it and stuff, and they made him uncomfortable because that was now his it made him uncomfortable, the amount of nudity and the what was there. From what I understand, he was talking about her showing off her assets. And
Hmm.
well, when
listen,
you're
that
a well, she's a surfer, right? Like she surfs.
Yeah.
That's
That.
surfer
different.
and a model,
Okay, and
yes.
a model.
Okay. Hmm.
See,
Hmm.
I don't know too much about her. I just found out about who she was during
Yeah.
all this.
She said she wouldn't take the surfing video off her Instagram and everything, and because it was, and he said, but what? Yes, one that isn't your ass in a thong. And she kept saying it's not a thong, but okay. Like she has to like nitpick about like correcting like little words and stuff with whatever he says, and that's when they broke up because she said I don't want to argue with you anymore about this. Like you're just not getting it. You don't understand, you know. But this is the text that everybody's attacking, and this is the one I really want your feedback on, both of you. This is Jonah in December. Plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a basis, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Now, he's saying that her reactions in this way with the men and the friendships and all, that she has done things in regards to that to break his trust. He's not saying what they are, but that's a loaded statement there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that tends to say that there's a lot more to this conversation than what we've seen,
That
which is
that
why I am not really wanting to say one way or another who's in the wrong here.
mhm.
Yeah.
And he did also say that with modeling was one of the last professions that he would be within as a partner. And he did. Now, I don't know if she got the modeling gig after they met or whatever. I don't know. In that case, I would agree that if he knew she was a surfer and she would be in a bathing suit, if he didn't check out her socials, like Mrs. Cassandra said, part of the blame is on him that he's uncomfortable. However, his
Mm.
right to say he's uncomfortable, I'm going to stand firmly on. I don't think he said anything wrong there. Okay? I don't think
Well,
he said
like
anything
I said,
wrong.
there might have been more to it. We might not be seeing the other text. Like
He
when
he
you
Yeah.
seems
say,
he seems to be a little bit rigid on what he finds to be respectful. He doesn't want her in drinking and drugs or people that have unstable relationships or whatever. He does sound a little judgmental there, but he has a right to. Some people only want certain things in their life. Okay.
And
And
Liam, Liam kind of brought something up that is kind of pertinent.
boundaryless
A lot
is
of us, a lot of us are putting a lot more into what we're actually reading, sort of inserting our own
right. We are.
interpretations of what we're reading.
Hmm.
Um, but we don't know the full story. For all we know, there could have been circumstances where she was incredibly risque and incredibly what he might consider unfaithful in some respects. But there's also the possibility that he is in fact a controlling asshole who is
True.
absolutely
Or
just trying to change her and
or
have complete control over her.
true, or even just setting the boundary that my career is important to me and your actions affect my acting career. Because that's true
Exactly.
too. He's not saying that, but that's true too, right? Everything his girl does, it comes into the line. If you're in the papers, if people are talking about it on either stuff, it affects his career too. But his
Mm,
right to actually say these are the boundaries and you want to do it or not is true. Like right there. Um, because that's how people break up over this kind of stuff all the time. Why does that make him a misogynist? I actually don't think that Jonah Hill is a misogynist. I don't. I don't think that he's telling her. He's just saying it's not acceptable for him. That it's fine. There's nothing wrong with what she's doing as long as that's what makes her happy. But it's not for him.
mm,
It doesn't make him happy. Okay. Listen, I don't want any man of mine, if he was a surfer, hanging around with beach bunnies all day, drinking cocktails out of their breasts, and like licking tequila off their toes. No, I'm sorry. That would make me extremely uncomfortable. And yeah, I think there would be texts of me saying so out there all over the place because it would be the same scenario. And I don't find myself to be a misandrist. Am I a misandrist?
I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think so. I have great respect for men, but do I want a man who's a tequila toe sucking fiend? No,
Mm,
I do not. And I don't think that
but
makes
what
me a man hater to say so. I'm not disrespecting him and saying he doesn't have a right to be like ogled and touched by all these women or whatever. He can have that if he wants, but what he can't have is me too. Period. Okay, and that doesn't make it wrong for me to say that. It doesn't mean I'm a little insecure, probably, but I'll own it. Hell, I ain't gonna torture myself with that stuff, you know.
mm.
But anyway, what if he was cheated on before and he's just incredibly insecure? He admits to being insecure, Grace, and he admits to being therapy, and he admits to that's why he is being so strict about his boundaries. And that is one of the reasons after reading that I am actually feeling more inclined to support him than her in this situation. Because what she did was put something out in public that she knew this man was in therapy. She knew he had things he needed to deal with. If she doesn't care, she knew he moved on and he's in a good place with someone else and having a child. If she's trying to damage his career, and anybody that says anything else, she's using this for a leg up for her own career to hurt his because she's being a spiteful, petty bee. Period. If she was hurt, she should have said so a long time ago and she should have said so to him. Okay? This stuff happened years ago and it didn't come out. She's using the climate of this society where we're bashing men over every little damn thing they say because we can. because there's all these big famous people in media outlets that are saying even when you lose a lawsuit because you lied on the witness stand and you made the whole damn thing up, that if we don't believe you, we're just bashing women and not supporting the cause. It's all for malarkey bullshit. And I'm just not going to stand for it. I think Jonah Hill, I wouldn't want to date him. He's got too many rules for me. Okay. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have a right to have them. He's not hurting anybody. You know, he said it was her choice. He didn't say you can't work. He didn't say anything like that. He just said the kind of work she did made him uncomfortable. But oh well.
Well, yes, there's this kind of behavior. He wasn't controlling her, though. That is something that you need to keep in mind. Is that, for all intents and purposes, all the messages that he had posted were that we've
Mm-hmm.
seen have
Exactly.
been relatively supportive of what she decides to do. He was merely just expressing his own insecurities.
Exactly, Grace. In what you're saying about these being controlling behaviors, they are when they're ongoing, and the person and they have to control everything they say and do. He's giving her choices, though. Okay, and I can understand why it appears that way, the width of it, but I don't think they had an abusive relationship, and she's trying to allude that it was, and it's not, and that's what's offensive. It's the same as you saying that because he set his boundaries, that makes him controlling, and it's not. Yes, these are could turn into controlling type behaviors if they got more entangled up with each other in the long term. Yeah, it could. But
Absolutely,
but
you could
what
see
he
it
said,
becoming
he
toxic.
did the right thing. He said we can't come to an agreement on this, so we're parting ways. How is that controlling? Do you think he really wanted to just leave her after they've been together for a while, that he didn't care? I see a person who cared. I also see a person who's tired of explaining why they feel uncomfortable about something when the other person doesn't want to do anything about it. And that's their choice. It was both of their choices. I see that they tried to have a respectful relationship here. They tried to have a respectful conversation about something. I'm not trying to, Grace. I'm just explaining my point of view. I'm not putting words. And when I say the conversation, I'm talking about what we see in the media, not you, Grace. So please settle. This is not about you, boo. I don't mean you, and I'm not putting words. I do agree that some of this looks like controlling behaviors. That is the only thing I put on you because of that comment, period. On the other hand, what people are actually saying is that he was actually going to try to control her and make her do everything he wanted. What he's doing is a backing away because he sees that she is not going to be happy in his world the way he wants. And what he's doing is saying, I've got these boundaries. This is what I can't back away from him. This conversation is getting old between the two of us because you say you want one thing, but you're not doing this in to go along with it, and you're entitled to do what you want to do, so you do your thing, me do my thing. And he walked away, and it seems like she didn't want that. No, I know that you didn't say that, Grace. I know. Well, it just looks like he was walking away from a situation that he knew wasn't going to resolve itself before it got into one of those like controlling, manipulative, like you got to do these kind of things. Like it looks like he was trying to prevent it from being that. At least it looks like that to me. Like he's saying what he wants. He's hearing that her say, "Well, I want to move forward with the relationship, but I still want to do this and I still want to do that." And he's like saying, "Well, I can't abide by that, and so we need to part ways." You know?
Mm.
And
And
a lot of gentlemen will a lot of sometimes it's easy to be friends with an ex and sometimes it's not. And actually, whether or not you're still talking to your ex sometimes has a lot to do with your new partner. It could be maybe his partner has issues with him being so friendly with an ex. Okay. There's a lot more to it than just whether or not he was being controlling or not, as to whether or not they are still talking. They were talking as friends until he started a romantic relationship with someone else. And because of his comments in regards to how he felt about men and women being friends in the surfing community, I think maybe he has strong issues on whether men and women are actually just friends to begin with. So maybe he's drawing that line for himself now that he's moved on.
And mm, did did he know anything about how the surfing community works beforehand? Is
Well, we don't know that, but I do agree with them that he should have did a little more in fall knowing her lifestyle and all before. But like you said, maybe he tried. I mean, it does look like control. It does look like when you read it that he's just going, nope, it's got to be this way or the highway, because that is exactly what he's doing. He's drawing a boundary and saying, I just can't do it. I just can't, you know?
mm,
But I don't think he's doing it in such a horrible way. People are using terms like abusive, like he did something horrible to her. Could you tell me what horrible thing he did to her besides saying that it doesn't work for me? Because if that's the case, then men and women
Mm-hmm.
have been really being abusive to women since the days of the first day,
Well,
the first sunrise, the first sunset. Because there's plenty of people that just say, hey, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, we're over. Like, we grew apart. We did this. Or you just got this new job and decided that you're now into this and I'm not, or whatever. Hmm. No, no, I'm not talking about individuals in the chat, Liam. I'm speak to the media has used that term a lot. And Mrs. Cassandra, you read the stuff I read, right? They're calling them abusive, controlling in lots of other
yeah, in
words.
the
I'm
media,
not
yeah.
talking about anybody in the chat. I'm talking about the media in general in what I read before covering this, you know?
mm. And Jujube is also right here. He could have started the relationship as this is fun, who knows what it'll be, and then as it got more
Hmm.
serious, he realized it wasn't for him.
Right, because we don't always put our serious parameters for a relationship on every relationship we start, do we? You want to see if there's anything there first. You don't know from like the get-go. Like,
Mm,
at least I don't limit myself that way, because for me it's not like there's not a perfect type. It's got to be this physical stature, got to have that as a job, got to do this, got to do. There's none of that for me. It's all about if I'm intrigued or how I feel, if my brain is stimulated, if you made me laugh. And then if it gets to progress or something serious, that's when all of the other things come into play, and what we call our parameters for a serious relationship. Everybody
mm,
has a kind of everybody has their own list of things, right? For me, it's honesty and respect. I'm a bit
yeah.
of a pedant about it too. Like like seriously. But I knew this was going to be a hot topic because like I
Mm,
could see on the socials how much everybody was just like tearing each other up about it,
Yeah, yeah,
it
that's
was
what I've been seeing, the back and forth
Mhm.
and comments.
Yeah, I know. And like Mrs. Cassandra, it made it difficult out there to say anything, right? Like because if we said anything to support him, like all of a sudden it was like, oh well, how could you support someone like you're all for equality and this and that. Yes, I am. Equality for everyone. Everyone. I'm not what we would call
Yeah, I
an
don't even bother. Like
extremist.
when I see something like on Instagram or anywhere else, I don't like bother even commenting on stuff.
Yeah.
There's really just no point because it's just gonna start an argument back and forth, and it's just
Yeah. Oh, that's
I ain't
another
got
thing.
time.
Twitter's like getting crazy. Well,
I don't
anyway,
got.
that
That's why I
was
don't
it.
got Twitter.
Yeah, well, almost like
mm,
I am glad that we had the conversation though, because that's what I like. Like we all don't have to agree. Like we all look at it differently. Like Wrecker said, we're all adding our own little thing on it, on what we see, based on our own life experiences and um what we've been through,
exposed to.
right? Right. And I
Mm,
think maybe like a lot of people, like we all do that. We all are doing that. Um
Absolutely. It's how we navigate life is using our own
Mm-hmm.
past experiences
Mm-hmm.
eh, to put it bluntly, biased ourselves to survive.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a natural reaction.
Yeah. In Sleet's right here, we need to remember that the media has its own agenda. It's not the friend of this or that famous couple. No, they're actually just trying to incite riot out there. Yep.
And
Liam said, yes, as I said, got past the in lust phase and had to consider about going into the in love phase. Exactly. And that's when everything kind of, you know, became more important and their differences became more outstanding. And it was a true difference in opinion and how they looked at that. And both of them are right. And in a way, both of them are wrong,
yeah,
right? Mm.
absolutely. Like in their own respects, she is more than uh, able to or allowed to do what she wants, and he's not actually specifically said um, or demanded that she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he has, in a sense, implied that she can't. So in that respect, yeah, he's a complete asshole in that respect
Uh-huh.
because he's sort of pulling the rug out from underneath her. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same point, he's protecting himself and trying to look after his own mental health. Um, I like to. I don't know if it's a good comparison, but I sort of have a personal belief that if you can't look after yourself, how are you meant to look after someone else or
Mm-hmm.
be with someone else properly?
Exactly.
Um, and to me, that's sort of how it reads a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that is her job.
Right.
That is what
And
she
it's
is.
one that she chose, she's really good at, and she has every right to it. But not
Mm,
everybody, I mean, just like not everybody can date a doctor, not everybody can date a chef, not everybody can date a surfer or a model or an actor or a musician or people that are in the limelight all the time. Or what about a traveling journalist? Or what about a war journalist who actually,
Jujubee,
yeah,
Jujubee actually said something
yeah, I would,
pretty
yep.
poignant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's very that is true. Every human interaction is
both right and wrong.
can be both right and wrong.
And that's why I love having these conversations because just because I have look at it a certain way doesn't mean I don't hear what everybody else is saying. And I agree with some of it too, even though my personal opinion skews a little bit the other way. I still get the points, fair points on all of it. I mean, everything. I'm glad we had this conversation. Because like I could see that everybody saw the same thing we saw out there on the media, that it was getting blown up both on different sides of it, and that it was something that people, had something a little bit to say about. But in the end, we're all still respect each other. We all still can see that hopefully the timing of it is the part that really bothers me. Especially the comments that she made with Newsweek and some of the Instagrams to say she had a whole folder of even worse stuff, that nobody had a right to say anything to her about bashing his character when she could have done so much worse. And I'm like, wow. So she admitted that she was trying to bash his character. And she's also saying I could have did a better job if I wanted to. And I thought that was a bit telling, you know. That kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, made me look the other way. Well, okay, so Cassie she'll be right back in a few minutes. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wrap up pretty soon. But before we did, I promised Juju that we would have a conversation in regards to my naked avatar.
oh
Apparently,
yeah, we
yeah.
need to enlarge you. Hang on, give me a second.
Wait a minute. Why would you
Huh?
want to? Why are you gonna do that? Don't do that. Wait a
What?
minute.
What?
What are
Hang
you
on.
gonna do that for?
There we
There.
go.
Okay. All
Now,
right. Is that a bit better? Can you see, Juju? I don't know. They believe me, these are small. Like, I don't know. I need somebody to give me some help with my avatar, I guess. But I don't know. It doesn't get taken down off YouTube. There are them there. Is for, they're not uncovered. I don't know what to tell you. She wanted to talk about it. So there you go. I'll put it up. Do you see it now? Are you happy, boo? Okay. Well, yeah. Like I said, don't get excited, people. That is not an as-is depiction. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. I know, Sleep. That is what Juju said. Exactly what you have there in quotes. That's why we're having this conversation. I was trying to make her more comfortable. Okay. I'll work. I do have a couple of other naked avatars, and I will work on bringing them up for you to give you a different view. I had quite a few other things loaded, so I only had 2 to choose from, and one was just a shoulder. And you people are really rude when I just show a shoulder. Like, you actually insist on me showing the whole thing. So,
I mean, those shoulders, though.
well, they are nice. Yeah, I do have nice shoulders. There you go. And so do you, by the way, naked Draugr there. And I have naked pictures of Mrs. Cassandra in the bathtub with her avatar from when I used to put all of the Naked Bear Squad on the actual thumbnails. And you could go back to the playlist, people, to find that. Like, you'll see Peter Harrington and Aaron and quite a few of our other friends, Polly, and yeah, you'll see them all naked. Yeah, our avatars are naked. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. It's just naked avatars. Is a good name for a band, isn't it? You know, and I call this my Naked Bear Squad up here for Mayhem. That is quite who Brother Bob is a member of, and Polymathic. EKC. Oh, Peter Harrington was one of the first naked men that we had up here.
Now you've just got
Now,
me. I apologize. I'm
no, that's
sorry,
okay.
everyone. You have to
Well,
deal
I
with
want.
me.
Oh, why are you apologizing? I'm just saying Peter was the first. Could you put Liam's comment on? I think
No,
Liam and I just broke up on YouTube. Liam, you did it in public. I'm not sure I feel comfortable continuing this relationship with you showing more than just a shoulder. Liam, on that, I would say, I'm sorry. If that's one of your boundaries, we can talk. I'll let you look at some of the other pictures, but I have to show more than a shoulder. Like, it's just, yeah, they are funny, and whoever makes them is talented. Yes, Shield. That was actually, I believe, Peter gave me breasts on my avatar. My avatar didn't come with breasts. Peter did that. Some magic that he did in paint. But yeah. Thank you, Shield. Thank you. I know Liam set his boundaries years later. Respect it. I respect your boundaries, boo. I guess we'll have to redesign our relationship. I'm willing to talk. Maybe we can come up with a compromise on where this relationship should go on YouTube. Anyway, we still have a contest. We have a contest to look at the winner, don't we? Let me go see if I can find my own link for my own contest here. I, uh, uh, uh. Hmm. I hope you all voted. I think I set it to cut off in like. I just want to say, hey, what is going on? Hey, Pete. Pete, Tuesday we're going to talk about Mallory Beach settlement on the 7 o'clock show. I was just going to email you. It's good to see you. I thought you might be interested. Would love to have you there, but if you can't, I understand. Oh boy.
Are we bringing up the caption contest?
I'm trying to get the proper link that'll show me the votes. You know what I mean? Like, because if you can't see the votes, then we don't know. Okay. Got it. And we're logging in right now. I don't have a lot open all at the same time because then the whole system kind of bogs down on me.
I got it if you need it. I can pull
Oh,
it up.
yeah, but can you actually see the
I can
result?
see all the results right now.
All right, we had 57 people actually vote, right?
I can't see how many people voted, but I definitely can see the percentages.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to go back to my community tab to find out who said this, but I'm pretty sure I know who said this one. But it looks like the winner.
Shall I bring it up?
Yes, go ahead and bring it up so they can see the circle. Okay, and
Oh,
that's
I
7.
can't bring up the circle. I don't have the
Okay,
circle.
hold
I
on.
have.
I'll do it. Okay, drop
Okay.
yours. In yeah, because I figured only the owner. That's why I was going to bring it up. Let me make it a little bit bigger so they can see. Okay. And then I'll scroll it down so you guys can see what we're talking about here. All right. This is the caption contest that we were running. Okay. I'll show you the picture like after, but there we go. That big percentage down there says 17.9%. And the winning comment for that is a whole lot of nothing going on. Now, I have to go back to the community tab. I want to say, I think that might be Mousy, but I don't know for definite. So I'm going to go back to the tab to pull the original comment because that's where I get them, right? From what you guys type. And where is it? Oh, it is Mousy Files is the winner this month of the contest. And I can show, I'm sure you all can go right there to the community tab and get that. And she did not strong arm me to vote for it. She didn't? Nope. Yep. And thank you all who actually added more to it at the end. I do see Grace, you came in second, it looks like again. Actually, well, there was a tie with that I am the entertainer, Grace, that you entered. There was a three-way tie earlier today on that one. But it looks like Mousy wins with a whole lot of nothing going on, which I believe is a Jerry Lee Lewis reference there for a whole lot of shaking going on, you know. Um, Let me just bring this back. This was the post. There you go. If you guys remember, it was the piano. I will be putting another one on the community tab for you, and we will do another one. But Mousy, I'll be in contact. I know you went to bed already. I'll have to send her a DM. Thank you to everybody who actually voted and actually, for those of you who actually made the comments, there were some pretty good ones on there, and it does take a long time because we do it from month to month, but I do appreciate everybody contributing. You stole it straight from Billy Joel, the entertainer. Grace, it was a good one. Yeah.
Mm.
There was a three-way fish nerd all between Mouse, the one that won, Mousy Files, whole lot of shit, nothing going on, and the I am the entertainer, and then there was another long one at the top
Hang
about
on a minute. No, it
being
wasn't. The
what?
three-way was between Mr. Krabs, Sponge Bob, and Patrick.
Oh, that's true. There was that three-way. Wow. Not only are you and I and Mrs. C having a three-way, but we've had quite a few three-ways up here tonight. Um, I'm
Yeah.
just yeah. So we got a couple of minutes. We'll see if Mrs. Cassandra comes back before we hit the button. But what are you doing, Rick? You wanna
What am
what's
I
going on
doing?
with your channel? Yeah.
I'm working on some music here and there. Doing a bunch of streaming. And currently trying to work on another cover of a rap song,
Yeah.
which I am furiously working on it.
Furiously working on a rap cover. It's like,
Hmm.
okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
And I'm slowly building up people.
It's
I'm
good.
about, I think, one away from 100, I believe.
Only one? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You should just.
I'm tiny compared to you, though. I'm just an itty bitty little
I always call
guy.
myself an itty bitty little bear. If I'm an itty bitty little bear, what does that make you? A little itty
Uh,
bitty little drogger?
I'm an
I'm
itsy
back.
bitsy little
Sorry.
drogger.
Are you an itsy bitsy little drogger? Yeah, well,
Yep.
I do hope you get that one to get to 100. I remember when I got to my first 100, it was the best. It was actually one of the ones I remember the most, actually. So that was really cool. So anybody that's his link is definitely below. If you click on his name in the description, you can hit it. If you type in the chat, they can right click. We can get your link if you'd like.
Uh,
Boom.
I'm one away from 100 grace case,
Yeah.
but
Only one away.
Only one. He's like got
mm,
99 subscribers now, and he's
actually,
on his YouTube. And also, you didn't tell them you're also doing music practice for your guitar and archery
yes,
on kick. Yeah, you didn't. I know you're being
I
shy.
do.
Thank you, Peter.
Oh,
That
thank
was
you,
very
Peter.
kind.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I
Yay,
hope I
does that
can be
mean you're at
entertaining
100?
enough.
Yes, I hope so too. Let me just pull your LinkedIn. They're asking for it, so let me just go to my channel and grab it because it is on my channel also. Is one of the channels we support so many young good everyone up here.
Oh, grace
Absolutely.
case is apparently 4 away from 150.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Should we
Now,
throw her channel in there as well?
well, yeah, I was gonna have Mrs.
It's
Cassandra talk
oh
about
goodness.
shenanigans next, right? And Grace, I didn't know you had an individual one, Grace. That's cool. But I'll get you
No, that's
bought it.
what she's talking about.
Oh,
She's
is she
talking
talking
about
about?
shenanigans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got the link for shenanigans coming right now. What do you
Okay.
guys got coming up this week, Mrs. Cassandra? I was gonna wait,
We
Cass,
just
and have you tell them before we signed off.
we're doing some games this week. Are we, Grace? Did we decide? Are we doing just trivia, like doing an all-out trivia night, or do you want to do games? I don't. We were still kind of debating on that. Carly will be out of town, so we'll be missing one of our hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to do something that something else that we can do without her having like where she's not feeling left out.
Oh, okay. There
So
you
we
go.
decided to do games.
Why am I not able to put a link in the chat right now? I'm
Hang on a minute.
trying.
Let me try.
Why is it coming up
Oh,
that there's something wrong with my video?
oh, it's like
Uh,
loading.
okay, right?
Uh
No,
oh.
it keeps blocking my chat. Like, what happened? Was it my naked avatar? I got records in there. Well, anyway, if I can't get the link, I keep posting it and it won't post. Can you post by any chance? Right?
Um,
To my video? Like, I don't know why they would have done that to me. Is the video
let
still
me have a
up?
look.
Can anybody in the chat see and hear us? Because that would be amusing if, like, we're not even. Thank you,
Mm,
Mrs. Cassandra. Why is it not letting me and it's letting you? Like, and I own the channel. Like, that's weird. Oh, wait. Now it is. There was a glitch. The comment got blocked for a second. Okay, there was something
Oh,
weird. Mrs.
and Mrs. C
Cassandra.
fell out.
Okay. Mrs. C, I'm gonna end anyway, so don't freak. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Who
Oh
won
wait.
the? I missed it. Who
Oh,
won
there
the?
she is. Oh, it was Mousy Files for a whole lot of nothing going on. Okay. All right.
And I'm sub to shenanigans too.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you
I
all for
won.
subbing to me as well. Oh my god, I'm over 100 now.
Thank you, everyone. That was
Oh, thank you.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was like I think 'cause I was trying to post it through
Mm-hmm.
StreamYards and it was like
Mm-hmm.
lagging, and that's when it booted me from StreamYards. It let me post it from YouTube
Yeah,
though.
it was weird. I was on YouTube when it did it. There was something going on with YouTube at the time. Like
Is that
something
coming
was
through?
going on with the channel. We're coming through. They did finally Mrs. Cassandra got the link. I got the link out. Your link is
There we
out.
go.
Then and we are still live according to just for a minute because we really should sign off.
Yeah,
I want to
I
thank
think
you
John's
all.
Mhm.
onto something though. I think it's all because of that
It's the
porn.
it's the nipple. It's the
Yeah,
nipple.
no,
It
it's
had to be.
SpongeBob porn.
I think
And
it was because Juju made me show and make my nipple larger and show it. That's what it was. You know how they get, even though it's
yep.
an avatar nipple. Oh, it's not my channel, Juju. It's just okay. I'm going to believe you because you've been pretty spot on about these stuff. So there you go. Thank you.
YouTube's been acting up for me. Like
Mm.
it'll boot me out of chats and stuff. Like I'll have to hit retry.
Purple said YouTube actually heard me even say the word nipple, and now they're upset with me.
Yeah,
Like,
you got
Oh
to
dear.
Hey, as long as you're not showing the turtle porn.
no, and or the carrot. Remember that? Oh my god. I know, and some folks only hear about that. They weren't there to see it. Like it was something else, wasn't it,
Oh,
Mrs.
I told
Cassandra?
yeah.
No, it's still there. I'm just not telling them where to find it. Let them
No, I'm talking about like I was just about to say something with because it seems like people were getting like their comments were getting blocked in chat. So I wonder if the
Oh,
Google bots are out tonight.
Oh
it might have been the Google bots because we don't block anything. Like I don't even have words
no,
like
No,
or
even
anything.
Shill was getting blocked. She said her comments were getting deleted.
really?
Really,
Yeah,
that's bizarre. I don't know what's
Wow.
going on then.
probably those Google bots again.
Mm.
I was keeping an there. Hang on, sorry. There, I was keeping a good eye on the comments. So if
Well,
you're
my mods never tell me that a lot of comments get held that you have to approve them. Does that ever happen? Like I don't know.
I
I
didn't
don't
think they
I
did
know
for
I hardly
live.
I don't
ever have
see it.
to approve anything in your
I
chat.
have to do it a lot over on EKC's channel, right, Shill? We have to approve a lot of comments there. Well, I'm not aware if it's happening here, but if it is, mods, you can talk to me about it later. I'll find out if there's something I can change. But on that, I think we're pretty much finished for the night. What do you think, guys? Like,
Yep.
everybody check out Shenanigans this week. Check out the
You
channel,
got
subscribe.
anything going?
Oh,
Record?
he did.
Oh,
He talked
I
about his
plugged
channel.
myself.
Yeah, he plugged.
Oh yeah,
I
I
forced
missed
him to do it. Like I forced him to
I
do it.
because I think you were talking about your subscribers as I came back, so I
Yeah.
missed it. That
He
was my
says
Mhm.
bad.
he says he's working of all things, Mrs. Cassandra. He's working on doing another cover of a rap.
Oh
Mhm.
really? Rap again?
Rap?
Mhm.
Of all things.
Believe it or not.
You mainly do rock.
I
Rap.
know.
He,
I know.
I know
I
he's actually shyly not mentioning that he is working on doing a cover of what could be called a rock song.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more melodic than rap. Okay, I'll say that. It's a little bit
It's
more melodic than rap.
yeah, it's not a rap. It's definitely not a
Mm.
rap song.
No.
Yeah, right. All right.
And then you have your true crime. Well, you got
Tuesday I'll be doing true crime.
well, tomorrow you're on the shows, aren't you?
Yes, like I'm paneling over there. As far as I know, I am. I guess we'll see.
Oh.
I do believe I am. And so yeah, I haven't seen the stream come up yet, so I never I have to check because I'm very forgetful. I don't know. Like, people tell me stuff, and I just got to go back and look later. I'm pretty sure we're doing one tomorrow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
as far as my channel, I'm true crime on Tuesday. I've got some other things I want to do, but I've been just taking things one step at a time, as we go. It's kind of sad we don't have Black Mirror for Saturday, but I'm glad to be Saturday back toward What the Effery and or Mayhem and things like that. There's a lot of conversations I want to have. It's just I got to get the right people together to have them, I think.
Yeah.
Um and it's summertime. And does anybody else ever get that summertime lackadaisical, I don't want to hurry into doing anything kind of thing? Big pimpin' is melodic in places. I like
Ooh,
that. You see,
big
Graces? Yeah,
pimpin'.
that's
I
a good
might.
one.
I'll copy that and I'll put that on my list. There's
Mm.
another one from from Papa Roach
Mm-hmm.
that someone was talking about. I can't remember what that one was.
Well, that's what you should do, people, is put your suggestions on the back of his videos. You'll be
Yeah,
not only he does take requests, because he did do one from Linkin Park and Jay-Z Smash Up. I recommended that quite a while ago, and he actually did it. He did it. I was surprised. He did a
I
great job too. Yeah.
I'm fully open to requests. Absolutely. If you want to, I'm right there.
All right. So that's a good thing because then you'll help the algorithm for the little, what are you going to call you, little jogger now?
Itty bitty.
Itty bitty
Itsy
jogger.
bitsy jogger.
Yes. We're going to call you itsy bitsy jogger. Okay. On that, everybody subscribe to Mrs. Cassandra and Grace and Carly over at Shenanigans. Don't forget to give MC Records subscribe and check out some of the music over there. To everybody, have a good night. I'm so glad to
Yep.
see some of you here on the weekend. And hopefully I'll see
Yep.
you during the week. I am just going to be covering a little of that Mallory Beach case on Tuesday for sure. The settlement came through, and I'll spend some time on that, plus a few other things. Well, anyway, any other last words, guys, before I hit the button?
Nope. Thank y'all for
But that's it. Last resort.
coming. It was. Yep. Thank you all for coming and the conversation. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you, because
Yes.
that was an interesting conversation about boundaries in revenge. It got really kind of with SpongeBob and all. Who knows? We're gonna go from SpongeBob to Jonah Hill, like
Yeah.
I know, right?
from Brother
Talk
Bob
about
to SpongeBob to Jonah Hill. That's a thing. That's a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, only on Mayhem, people.
only on Mayhem.
Only
Yeah.
on Mayhem. Good night. Thank you, Miss
Good night.
Cass, my ride or die. Thank you so much for this. Another one in the bucket. Yay! Another one in the
Maybe
bucket.
another year to go.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what we're going to teach them. Not one single question about sex positions. I don't know. I think our job is done here. Anyway, thanks,
Yeah.
Wrecker. We'll see you all.
No
Bye.
problem.
And if
Thank
we
you,
still
good.
have a channel, we'll be back next weekend. Bye.
Exactly. If.
Good night, all.
See you.
Bye.